Hey guys, right here. Bringing you my, I'm gonna bring you probably if this turns out to be fun and will gain any interest at all from people and people tell me, yeah, I like it and whatever. I'm probably gonna bring you all 9 of my SPL games. We didn't qualify. We choked at the end. We should have qualified. We had good players. We were a good team, but we kind of lost it at the mental game, I think, in the last 2 weeks, and the spirit wasn't there enough, and then we just choked and weren't good enough. It's sad because it was a fun SPL. I had a lot of fun with a lot of great people, made some good friends, and just enjoyed it. This was just fun, which one should be. Not always is, because sometimes it can be a lot of pressure if you're trying to perform and shit. Anyway, enough SPL talk. We didn't qualify, and I'm out, and I ended up with a decent record. Quite good. It's the second best DPP record, I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah, only Bruno had more wins than me. Um, Student of Senior had a better win-loss differential, I guess, but fewer wins. Anyway, whatever. It was a good SPL. I performed well. I was happy with how I did. And I kind of just want to, talk a little about why I did what I did and how I made my choices and decisions and how I felt about all of it. So originally I didn't even want to sign up for SPL actually. I wasn't going to. I didn't feel like I hadn't played in a while and I didn't feel the need to return for SPL because I was about to get a new job and life was changing a lot and a new girlfriend and stuff. So I didn't want to play, but then some messaged me and was like, sign up. I was like, do you want to buy me? I was like, yes. And that was just good enough, I guess. There's not much to it. I was toying with signing up. I was thinking about it, but I didn't feel like it. And then, Zom was like there, and it felt like, oh, I'm gonna be on a team that actually wants me and appreciates me. And I like Zom, and he's a fun guy. So I was like, yeah, well, whatever. So I signed up, and I thought this season I'm gonna do it differently. I'm gonna play a little more casually, as in I'm gonna still try my best to win, but I'm not gonna overthink my team choices anymore, which I think was essential to all of my losses in all SPLs I ever had. So I went with a more forgiving mindset into SPL, and that really helped me turn my SPL into a fun time and a good record. Well, enough SPL rambling, onto the team. So my first week was against twash. I was a little intimidated, to be honest, because I haven't played in a while. Of course, I played, leading up to SPL to practice and shit, but I haven't played any high stakes games in a while. And I didn't know him because he kind of just came around. He kind of just came around while I was, taking my little break, my yearly break that I take. And then I looked like at replays. Turns out he went pretty far into DPP Cup, and he did well in like the year-end DPP tournament and stuff like that. And then I looked into his teams and replays, and turns out this guy brings the craziest teams at all. Of all people that had any success in DPP, it's just crackhead teams. So that was, that's always shit to prepare for because you never know what's coming. But that wasn't even the biggest issue. I was a little intimidated because this guy was actually playing really well. Like in all of his replays, you see the teams and you think, oh, that's a bad player. But he makes really good decisions in game. He's really good at keeping the momentum up, keeping the pressure up, and just finding a way to win with whatever team he has. So I knew I couldn't just do the usual thing of bring a good team and outplay, because if I bring a standard team, he's going to be ready for it and he's going to play well enough for me to need to be perfect with a good team. So I was like a little worried at the beginning, but then I quickly noticed that he likes to stack up on types. So he'd bring 3 fighting types or 3 steel types or like multiple ground types, stuff like that. He's like a big type overload type of player. And I also noticed that he's kind of ignoring the water resist sometimes. if there's a water resist, it's usually Lade, which is a good water resist, but on its own can, be taken out quite quickly. I was like, well, I could bring water mons to a guy against a guy who doesn't really care that much about water resist and stacks up on types. And I was thinking maybe I just rain because, well, the first thinking was he tends to be weak against water teams, and rain's kind of reliable because I can use surf instead of pump with Empoleon and Starmie. And I do not have to worry about his crazy offensive teams and random Shukas and whatever. And it also means that people are probably going to be a little more cautious against me when it comes to team building, because they know I'll be ready to bring rain and whatever the fuck, other cheesy or matchup-y things you can bring, even though I think rain's really solid and it's just a good play style. So I was thinking, rain might be a good idea. So I was looking for rain teams, and I discovered this, rediscovered this rain that I built with Tomahawk during the Duck Trio metagame. It was a Heatran lead rain with Duck Trio, and I was like, oh shit, I love this team. It was like pretty unbeatable for many teams, but of course Doug is banned, so I had to dig a little deeper, and Bluebird sent me this. I think it was Bluebird sent me this rain that's it's like a crystal adaptation of my Heatran rain. So it was another Heatran rain, just without Dougie, and she had Suicune here and Ludicolo here, I think, and it's a pretty good team. But I didn't want to use Ludicolo. I wanted to use Quillfish, because Twash is actually quite big on T-Spikes. There's a lot of T-Spikes team in his scout, even though I think they suck. But he had quite a lot of T-Spikes team in his replays. So I wanted to have Quillfish, because rain without Quillfish into T-Spikes is usually a loss. And I went with this set. It's just, fast and attack, and that's it. The reason I have Aqua Jet is for Lucario, because if it gets an SD up, it kind of just kills most of the team, and in rain at least I can do significant damage to it. Like SDs as Uxie Rain Dance or something, can U-turn and Aqua Jet, and we're all good. It doesn't kill Lucario, but it does enough for it to limit it to a few turns at most. I went with Explosion because you just want to boom, and 4 attacks. I've tested SD on Quillfish a lot in the past, but I found out that you never get to click SD, so I just went with 4 attacks. And yeah, that's the first change I made, and the other change I made was putting the champ over Suicune, because ironically, Rain often really has trouble switching into T-Tar. It just, clears the weather and comes in, and usually if it's Scarf, it just 2-hit KOs most of the offensive ones. 2-hit KOs Uxie, and only Bronson can usually take a hit. And it also helps against the occasional Blissey, because Twash actually he uses Blissey sometimes. Even should custom Blissey, by the way, which, what the fuck. But it has worked before. So I put Machamp. I didn't want to use Kyun again because of the T-Spikes, and for the reasons I just stated. The lead mon is Heatran, which you'd think bringing a Firemon on Rain is not a smart idea, but Heatran on Rain is actually probably what, in my opinion, makes Rain good, or at least this team pretty good and viable. Because the idea is you lead with it, and the most common switches into Heatran are T-Tar and Ladi, and sometimes Gyarados. If you get a boom against any of these, your matchup becomes significantly easier. So that's why you lead with it. If you Magma Storm with T-Tar and then Earth Power it has only very few turns left to switch in. If you get a Rocks up before it switches in, I think it gets 3 at most or something, which is really good, really good. So that's the lead. Oh, also Heatran doesn't actually reveal the fact that it's a rain team. Then obviously there's Kingdra. It's just a standard Kingdra, except it has Sleep Talk instead of coverage move, because if Brilliant does happen to get a free turn, I do not want to have anything asleep. Well, asleep can be useless. The coverage moves are actually usually not that useful. The only thing you click sometimes is maybe Draco Meteor, but not that often. There's the mentioned Machamp. It's a 4 attack set, Stone Edge to hit Gyarados, which matters. And this EV spread is a Bluebird genius mastermind creation. He's so good. He's so good at making EV spreads. He's the master of it. This team, actually, I kind of owe this win to him, because if it wasn't for his EV spreads and his help in general, I probably would not have had a rain team this good. Because I originally had like a pretty fast Machamp with not enough bulk and shit, and it sucked. And then he came up with this spread, and it made the team so much better. He's a genius. The reason why it's custom berry is because Machamp's purpose on this team is to trade 2 for 1, so that I have to hit few amounts with Hydro or Surf. I try to go for Surf, but sometimes you have to Hydro. So you kind of take Heatran to trade either 1 for 1 or 2 for 1 if you can. It works against like Metagross, getting the 2 for 1, or against Swampert or shit like that. And then Machamp with another 1 for 1 or 2 for 1 trade. So you reduce the game state to, at worst, usually a 4-4, but like most of the time it's a 4-3 or something in my favor. And then I have another 2 booms, and Kingdra just sweeps house. So it's really offensive. It's a simplistic team with a simplistic game style. The CD spread's really good. It just lives a lot of shit while still having maximum attacking power. Then there is like a standard Bronzong. I put EQ over Hypnosis because Hypnosis is a shit move. It misses and it doesn't hit anything other than Skarmory for any use at all. And Skarmory is not that dangerous for this team. And also because if I boom into a Subrachi, also because against it forces, if you do not have EQ, Subrachi forces you to boom. And you do not always want to boom your Bronzong as soon as it gets out, because it's the only real steal on the team, and it's the only mon that can resist like certain tags like Draco Meteor or shit like that, so you really wanted good health. It also helps against DDers and shit like that. So you do not always want to immediately boom it, and EQ lets you hit Rachi, while also helping against Metagross and helping against other Heatrans and shit like that. So that's why I put EQ instead of Hypnosis. I was considering different options. At some point I had what's it called? Where is it? I had Gravity, that's what it's called. I had Gravity to guarantee hitting Hydro Pump, but it wasn't worth it. And there was like not really anything else that I wanted. So I just put EQ because it helped me against the Sub-Rachi. That was the main reason. Rachi is really big. Then there's Uxie, another genius EV spread. It's not that genius, honestly, but Bluebird made it. I asked him to make it so that Uxie lives 2 Dragon Pulses after rocks from Spexladi Timid. Because if Bronzong's dead, I do not have anyone that can switch into Dragon Pulse, so that's why the 108 plus. Thunder, just in case I do have to do an Empoleon and a Skarmory, especially Empoleon is kind of big. If I get a Thunder off against Empoleon, Kingra's a lot more likely to sweep. But the rest is pretty normal. It's Stealth Rock, U-turn, Rain Dance, nothing big. So yeah, that's the team. Enough rambling, let's get into the replay. We start. First turn, fucking ideal, it's a Metagross. There's not much to think about. You can consider Earth Power, but it's a worse play because usually there's Sash or Lumberry. Magma Storm kills both. The only play where Earth Power is better is if it's Okaberry, which can be, but it's rare, and you still 2-hit KO. Like Okaberry, you want to Earth Power against just so you don't miss, but you cannot know the set beforehand, and Magma Storm just, kills 2 of the most common sets. So I click the Magma Storm and I miss. You'd think it's, not gonna do that much damage, and it's not that important and shit, but it turns out to be quite important. I'll explain to you later why. So here I wanna damage the T-tar as much as I can, because that's kind of the whole point of the Heatran here. T-tar is always annoying for rain because it just clears the weather and you do not want that. So yeah, so I just click Earth Power. There's not much else to consider here. He reveals to be Scarf, which is kind of bad because it's faster than Kingdra, so I cannot stay in and click Hydro and try and kill it. And this is the first reason why missing the Magma Stone was really bad. There's another one later on, but this is kind of the bigger reason. Maybe not bigger, but like, it's annoying because at this point, so if he was Magma Stormed, I know there's no chance his double switches out. And I studied his replays, and he's certainly a player who does not like to let go of momentum. He doesn't want to give his opponent any free turns, usually. So here I was thinking, aggressive player, good player, smart player, there's no way he just stays there and clicks Superpower, right? He's definitely double switching. Probably gonna try and catch my either Latios or Gyarados or whatever I'm gonna bring in. So I thought, he's definitely double switching. He probably does not risk Metagross, but maybe if he has like a Gyarados or like another Steel or whatever it is that can switch into, you know, my one that was gonna come in and threaten it out, he's gonna bring it here. So I thought, I'm just gonna stay in a Magma Storm for the chance he double switches back to Metagross, because I think a lot of players would have done it, and I think the way I saw him play in his replays, it's the expected play, because if it doubles back to Metagross, he gets Rocks, which is, you know, free damage every single fucking switch in. It's a fucking broken move. So I click Magma Storm, and turns out I was wrong. He just stayed in and attacked. But that's fine. It was a calculated risk. It was like, if I lose Heatran, I lose Heatran, and I get a free turn with Machamp. Or Uxie, I decide to go Machamp for several reasons. And if I do catch the Metagross, massive. That's a massive turn. So here I have two options. I could go Uxie or Machamp. I decide to go Machamp because if I go Uxie, I get Rocks, but it also reveals that it's a rain team. And I wanted to scout, you know, a little more so I could make a plan. A plan on, you know, how to set up the rain wind properly. And I was also thinking, if I go Machamp, there's a chance he, you know, lets me take down his Latias. I was thinking he probably has a Latias or a Gyarados. And that would, you know, be really useful. I could probably get the water resist here. So I went Machamp. I obviously click Dynamic Punch because it's broken. He brings in Fortress? I was like, do you not have a fighting resist, brother? Do you not have a switch in? So I was like, either that's he's taking a big risk and he does not want to give me Lati or Gyarados or Rotom or whatever, or he was thinking I'm gonna predict and click Payback, which I almost did. But he brings in for it. Turns out to be Lumberry, so I think that was maybe calculated or something. And here I think, oh god, it's gonna be T-Spikes, right? Or Spikes, or both. And here I'm thinking, there's no point in me switching out to Kingdra, because if I go Kingdra and kill this, he goes to T-Tar and pursues my Kingdra, I'm fucked. And staying in and attacking gives me like a 50 plus a crit chance to get a KO on this 4 without 4 getting any of the hazards up. So that was the obvious play there. Like mathematically, this was the best. I do not want to have to clear T-Spikes with Quillfish, and I do not want to have to deal with the layer of spikes on my side, because look, the Kingdra against Tyranitar Cog, Crunch, after spikes and rocks, I'm at 75%. Another round of sand, I'm at 69. He crunches me, I can no longer switch in again. So that's why spikes would have been really bad. I was like, I'm gonna take this 50-50 plus crit chance to win. So it's in my favor, you know, in my favor to kill the 4 without 4 getting anything. And I get a crit, which, fuck yeah, I was really happy about that, obviously. He then goes to, to Metagross. I was thinking it's probably gonna click rocks, but I cannot stop that, I cannot prevent that. And he might be Lumberry. So if I stay in and he rocks and then he, the Lumberry procs and he's not confused, I'm kind of fucked. I didn't make much progress, other than getting maybe 40% on Metagross. But if it's not rocks and he gets a medium mesh on my champ, I lose a lot of valuable health on the mon that I really need to be healthy against the T-Tar team. So I cannot let this take any damage because either 2-hit KOs or just, damages significantly any of the mons while also clearing the weather. So I do need my champ safe. And I have a pretty good Metagross switch in its Brown Song. With EQ, another reason why EQ is good. He goes for rocks, which I didn't like, but what can you do? He meteor measures. This cog's really weird. He gets an attack race, which obviously is annoying, but not too big. But this cog's really weird, because look, usually lead is either it's usually max attack adamant and either max speed or max HP. But if you look here, this is max attack adamant cog. If you make it jolly, it's still not enough. And you go down with the attack investment, and I was like going down, 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 thinking, it only did like 15 something. This is, I like clicked down and down, I was like, this is a 0 attack Metagross. What the fuck? So I was worried that it's gonna be some trick Iron Ball or like specially defensive. But I didn't, I thought it was not gonna be specially defensive because I think I thought it's lead, and a lot of lead mons are like in the 244 area, or like slower, like 239, like Swampert and Max Speed Machamp and Empoleon and T-Tar and shit like that. So it's probably jolly Max Speed. And then I look at the next cog. So it's like max HP. I was thinking this is not bold for Impish. I mean, for it to be Impish, you would have had to, if you run Impish, you probably run a lot of defensive E's. So this cog made Impish really unlikely. So it's I probably got a really low roll on max HP Metagross. He might have some defensive investment, but not a lot. So it was either max HP with maybe some defense and a lot of SDF, or Jolly. And I thought in the least slot Jolly is a lot more likely. So yeah, I EQ once. And here I'm thinking, so he saw that he does not do a lot of damage to me. We're gonna probably trade down, and Metagross is really valuable, especially if it's Lumberry for him, because it can switch into Machamp. I was pretty convinced it was gonna be Lumberry in the lead slot for Breloom and Azelf and Machamp and shit like that, because it was not Sash. Sash tends to stay in against Heatran. So he probably keeps this. I do not want to EQ into a Breloom. I did not think he was gonna have Lati, because he would have gone to it. I did not think he was gonna have Gyarados, because he would have gone to it before. There's a small chance he had a Gliscor, but probably not. So he didn't have a fighting resist, I was thinking there's a high chance he has either his own Machamp here or Swampert. Well, what I was thinking was going to come in, I expected a Breloom. So I was like, if I EQ into Breloom, I'm going to have to let my Kingdra go to bed against the T-Tar. So I get one attack and I'll be forced to switch. And if T-Tar, comes in after something dies with the one attack, my Kingdra is just gone. And Kingdra is crucial for me. It's essential to winning this game. Metagross, T-Tar, Fori does not look like a team that's good into Kingdra. So it's he's not staying in. He's probably going Breloom or something other physically bulky, like Swampert or what was I thinking? Oh yeah, I was thinking he maybe has a Flygon. I was expecting a Magnezone to be on his team, but he's not going to it here. So I was thinking the mons that I was considering that I thought could be there could be. In my head, there was almost surely going to be another physically bulky mon and offensive mon, so something like Swampert, but not rocks, so probably Choice Band. There was definitely going to be a Scarfer, and it was not going to be Rotom because he would have tried to pivot. I think I was expecting that. And if it's Rotom, I actually get a free turn. So if there was Breloom, which I thought was going to come in. There was a high chance for Lucario and Magnezone. none of these mons are good into boom and EQ. So it's like if I click boom here, I probably get a kill on like a Breloom or a Machamp or something similar. And I click boom and it's a fucking Swampert, which is great because that's a mon that can tank a dynamic punch and a mon that can tank a hit from Quillfish. So that was a really good play on my side. I do not know if he had to go Swampert, but I understand why he did it. Most players would have done that probably. On the double down, I now have two options. I know Teeter's coming in. He's gonna try to clear the weather. So Machamp is the obvious choice. But if he goes Metagross expecting my Machamp, or anything else, I'm not in that much of a great spot. And I have another one that can hit Tita for quite a lot of damage, which is Quillfish. So Quillfish, it doesn't KO Metagross, but it, since it's Meteor Mash, Stealth Rocks, it probably doesn't have EQ. Like, they tend to prefer Explosion and what's it called, Bullet Punch. Sometimes, you run Meteor Mash EQ Explosion if you're really fast, like with Max Speed Jolly, but I thought if that's it, then, that's fine too. But if it goes Teeter, I can just get a hit off with Quillfish. Teeter doesn't usually run Superpower and EQ. You usually pick between either, and then pick a last move, accordingly. Usually Stone Edge or Rocks. Sometimes Ice Punch, Ice Beam. Teeter can run a lot of moves, it's fucking broken. So I was thinking, if I go Quillfish on anything that's not Teeter, I get a Ward of Fall that's boosted by Rain. If I go Quillfish on Teeter, I get a Waterfall that's not boosted by Rain, but that's probably gonna kill something, because this 2-hit kills the Metagross, and he doesn't seem to have water resist. I also thought there is a high chance he goes to Escaffa, which I thought was gonna probably be Flygon, because Metagross, Flygon, Teeter, Swampert seems like a good offensive core. He likes to double up on types, so I thought it was maybe some type of ground spam with Choice Band, Swampert, or Custard, because he loves the fucking Custard Berries on everything. So I was like, I think I'm gonna go Quillfish and try and be as aggressive as I can in case he doesn't go Teeter. And you can always use the Machamp health. He goes Teeter, which I thought was fine. I stay in. He crunches. I kill. I'm surprised he stayed in actually, but this just told me he definitely does not have a water resist or a mon that's good into water mon moves. So I was thinking Flygon's almost definitely there. And I was thinking at this point it was probably not going to be Breloom either. It could have been Loom, but then it would have pivoted like Loom Metagross or something. But I was thinking, I don't know, I was too confused. I didn't know what it was going to be. It could have been some weird other ground mon like Mamoswine or some shit. So I was thinking there's a lot of options. But I knew it was not going to be a water resist, so I was like, oh fuck yeah, this looks like a free ass Kingdra sweep, right? I kill this, he reveals Infernape, which I was like, oh fuck yes, this is so perfect. And here I make I think my only mistake of this game. And not I think, I talked to it with a lot of good players. This is my only mistake of the game. And honestly, I do not blame myself for the mistake too much, because this is like what you'd consider a computer play in chess, where there's a better play, but it's kind of not intuitive and difficult to see and shit like that. Because I'm gonna die to life up here, right? Infernape is faster. Whatever it clicks is gonna kill me. I'm gonna die to life up, right? I have Uxie, which can set up Rain, and I can just sweep. Right? That's it, right? Infernape does not kill Uxie, right? So, there's no magic behind it. So I think I'm just gonna Aqua Jet just in case I get the crit, Why not kill the Infernape while I can? Turns out that actually puts it into Blaze range. And this is a bad play for two reasons. Now, if it was Nasty Plot leftovers, it just swept me. I just lost, assuming it, has a move to hit Kingdra, which fucking sucks. And also because Crit Fire Blast actually kills my Uxie now. It's only a 6.25% chance, Of course, it's not gonna crit, right? It's not gonna matter. Well, yikes. Here, it's fucking crits, and I did not like that moment. That moment was not fun for me. I did not enjoy it. And here I'm thinking, okay, this is Metagross, Infernape, Scarflagon against Machamp and Kingdra in Sand. I'm probably fucked. I'm gonna need to get some luck. So both of my mons take a hit, right? If I go Machamp and take it and kill this, I will probably be in custom range. I did calc it during the time, but I cannot remember now. Oh, actually, I think he didn't reveal his item, right? Yeah, no, he was probably Lumberia, like Charcoal or Expel build. I don't know what it was. So like Fire Blast with Blaze. Actually, oh wow, incredible. It has a chance to kill. Probably kills after Sand, so I died there. So I'm gonna have to go Kingdra, tank the close combat, and hope that his Scarflagon and Metagross magically lose to my custom Machamp. Because I was sure it was gonna be Scarflagon. I thought there was a chance it's gonna be Mamoswine, but I didn't think really it was gonna be Mamoswine without Magneton and Magneton. It could have been Scarf Magneton too, in which case, kind of similar logic, right? It's not gonna be something that's slower than Kingdra. So I go Kingdra to tank the hit. Close combat reveals to be like rather specially offensive. I click Hydro Pump because max HP, because it has a chance to kill Metagross from my calculations. Yeah, it kills Metagross, where Surf doesn't always, or like in this case, rarely ever does, and he maybe had some Mastiff. So that's why I went for the Hydro, even though, you know, shit can miss. Because this, if I go for Surf, he can't go Metagross, and you never know what's gonna happen then. So I click Hydro. He reveals Flygon. I was like, alrighty. And then he clicks Outrage. So a lot of people were saying this is a misplay. And it was a play that lost him the game, but it was not a misplay during the game. You know what I mean? Because he did not have any information on my Machamp other than that it was max attack or close to max attack. If he has EQ, if he clicks, because the people are saying he can click EQ here, swap out, get a hit off with Metagross, and then get a hit off with Flygon. And that you kind of guarantees the win or something. It didn't. Also, EQ does not put me in custom range. People are saying so. Like if he EQ'd there, he would not have put me in custom range, and Metagross just won. Or he could have swapped out to Metagross and had better odds at, you know, getting the what's it called, the win. But he did not. He did not know my Machamp set. I could have been not bulky. Then EQ also puts me into custom range. I could have been sub bulky, so could have tanked EQ into sub into custom range, and then I get this. It's the same shit. And I could have been bulky bulk up, which has seen some use this SPL, which could have, you know, also put him into big shit. So he did not have any information. And Outrage Crit has a chance to kill almost all Machamps. And he had Metagross. I thought it was Lumberry. It turns out it was not. He had a Metagross there that can tank any hit from Machamp. So he's like, and it was probably faster. So he's like, fine if he clicks Outrage. Clicking EQ would have been the better play had he known anything about my Machamp, but he didn't. All he knew was there was max speed. So he clicked Outrage, and here I'm like, well, I ran the calc. I ran the calc already on this turn here. Here I ran the calc, like before I went to Kingdra. I was like, Flygon Outrage puts me into Custerberry range, so it's kind of my only chance of winning. I ran a lot of calcs here, trying to figure out how to win. I thought I had lost. I was like, but if in any way I managed to get custom Machamp out against his last one, I at least maybe have a 50-50 chance of winning. Or like 25% chance depending on how things go. So he clicks Outrage, it puts me to custom range. I was like, fuck yeah. I thought I still had lost, obviously, because I thought it was Lomachamp, but it wasn't. If he had gotten a higher roll, I think 61%, 88, what was it? Puts me at, what's the 61, 88 rocks, 6.25, that's 68. Yeah, that puts me at like 20%. Yeah, no, I was fine regardless of roll. I was gonna live enough turns to KO the Metagross if I get lucky enough. So I kill this here. Sand puts me into custom range. I was like, please don't be lump, please don't be lump, please, please, please don't be lump. I custom berry activates, I attack, and it's not Lumberry. And you know how when a game ends, you know how you have like these skip turn buttons like down here during the game where you can skip the turns or like whatever. You know what I mean? And when the game ends, the layout looks different. You can click skip to last turn, and that didn't show up. So I knew before like the animation had gone, I knew that it got confused. It's kind of annoying sometimes when you know what happens before you see the animation. But in this case, I was just so relieved. I was like, okay, let's fucking go. I mean, my Machamp is slower than all Metagross, so there was no way he was slow. From this, by the way, I knew that he had little to no defensive investment. So I was like, oh, please hit yourself again. Please, after the Magma Storm miss and the crit on Uxie, I felt like I deserved it. Of course, there's no universal justice or like no god or anything that takes care of all of that. So I was like just praying to nobody. I was like really hoping that it hits itself again, and it does. He reveals to be custom, by the way, which I should have expected from Twash. He's Mr. Custom Berry. And I win the first game, and I was so happy. I was so happy because I think at that time my team was down like 0-3 or something. And it was the first win. It was the first win of the season, I think. And I was really happy with that. I thought I played a stellar game other than the stupid Aquajet turn. Which, in hindsight, it's an obvious mistake. But at the time, when you're thinking, not thinking, oh, yeah, Blaze, crit, kills my Uxie, so I better not attack or whatever. I should have exploded, just in case it's nasty plot. But other than that, I played a really good game with a lot of smart decisions that obviously brought the perfect team into him with no fighting resist and no water resist, and I had Machamp and Rain, so that, just worked out well. I was really happy with this. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, let me know. If I get any sort of positive feedback, I'm probably gonna do more of these. See you around. Have a nice day.